June 6, 1944 was the D-Day invasion or Operation Overlord. In a previous video I said the Battle of the Atlantic. And why was that important? Well, December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor's attacked. The United States has less than 100,000 people in the Army and a very small professional military, but it's not the millions of people that it'll be in 1945. It takes time to get everything organized. When we entered the war, the Germans had been at war with the British for 2 years. On December 8th, Hitler declares war on the United States. We didn't declare war on Germany. Germany and Italy declared war on us because Japan attacked us. And they were allied together, and Germany, following their obligation, declared war on the United States. Now we had to get men and material from the United States to England, which was our base, to Operation Overlord. So the planning started in 1942 to open up a second front because the Soviets were complaining. They should have been. 3 million German soldiers were fighting in the Soviet Union and killing Soviets like it was an Olympic sport, and they were Soviet athletes going for gold. If you're old enough to know, you know. We had to get men and material over. We had to get food over. We had to get oil over. We had to get aircraft over. We also had to give time for our factories to start building everything. That takes time too. The Ford plant went from making Fords to Sherman tanks. That takes a little bit of retooling. Aircraft. The goal was 100,000 in 5 years. By 1944, we're doing 100,000 a year. The United States became an industrial powerhouse that launched us into the second half of the 20th century as one of the two world superpowers. But it took time, and it was really, really precarious for a couple of years before we were able to put the hammer down on the Nazis. It was a slow, slow grind. The Allies were only taking on 10% of the fighting forces of the Germans. We were doing a tremendous amount of bombing. The 8th Air Force, it was the 8th Army Air Force because there was no Air Force yet, was attacking Germany and occupied German-controlled areas during the day, and the British were bombing at night. It was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no breaks, to try and destroy fascism. And on December 6th, almost 200,000 men hit the beaches. And again, by May, the war was over, 1940.